So in this pandemic, the reality is different. The reality is that we need to survive, and really the fuel to survive is that you have cash. Okay, if pre-pandemic you are already having difficulty with the cash reserves of your business, that is really a challenge, and most probably you would close either temporarily or permanently. And this is the main driver why many businesses would close, because understanding that cash inflow would be very, very minimal, and then you have that obligations for cash outflow. If you don't have enough cash reserve, that is really the problem. So if you really want to continue and preserve, you need to have a mindset that the priority is cash preservation and not necessarily profitability. If you can do both, the better. Okay, you would be you're actually in a very good business model. You're in the right business industry if you can manage both. So later, I have a case study that would actually show you that in some industries, this is actually possible. But majority or super majority of the business models, this is going to be a challenge. So if you want to, most likely, if you decide to continue, most probably your mindset would be to make sure all the cash has been reserved. Okay, reserve. So how do you do this? First is, like any personal finance books that has been we are being educated to, in the business there is no difference. When you run a business, it's very important that you save some cash fund during a very good sunny day for your business, so that when you're rainy day, you have something to pull in, right? So if the business has no cash, it's very difficult to survive. And now, and in my this is just an experience for me, and a vicarious understanding of also majority of the entrepreneurs in the Philippines. Pag gumagana na yung business, dumadami na yung cash kasi magiging ATM na yung business, ang ginagawa natin, wini-withdraw natin yung cash from our business and we buy cars, we buy properties, we buy real estate, tagdadalawang bahay, without thinking forward that someday there might be a black swan incident in your business and you're not ready. And ito na nga, the black swan is actually the pandemic. So by the time you're in the middle of the construction of your new house, in the installment of the new car, because when your business was doing good, you have spent it all, and now pandemic came, you don't have. So I will always advise this in all my discussion with entrepreneurs. Cash is always king. King. It's not only king, it's actually the fuel of your business, right? So when you're going to build a business, you need to make sure you have enough emergency fund. Now, question, what would be the normal emergency fund? No, there's no hard and fast rule on this, but normally what I do is that I have around 6 months of cash that's enough to cover my operating expenses, even if I am not selling. Okay, so that's normally my rule. So make sure when you're an ongoing business, reserve the cash. If you have enough, make sure you do a lot of things to preserve this. Another would be to make sure you do short-term cash budgeting. No, if you are not doing any budgeting at all, forget it. You would not have an hindsight of what's going on in your business. Important is the visibility of the cash, not only the operation, not only the customer effects to your business, but the visibility how your cash is going to be used all throughout the period. Now, again, I would say when you're doing cash budgeting for this purpose, what we did and we recommend is always at least 6 months rolling budget, or 12 months if you can do that. And when you plot that, you need to understand what are the expected cash that's coming to your business and what are the cash outflow that's going out to your business. Okay. Another would be, the most obvious is to improve cash inflow, no? So how do you do this? So I've given some examples here. One would be, if you're holding a lot of receivable in your business, maybe you can speak to your customer and ask them that I can give you discount if you pay in advance. That's one way you can do. Okay. Another cash inflow improving cash flow technique would be, which is the most difficult. If you see your business has really no cash, then one of the most obvious choice is that you need to put cash from your pocket. Okay. Unfortunately, not everyone has this capacity. But if you don't have, then maybe it's time to secure short-term financing outside, from your friends, from institutions that you know, anything that would add a reserve cash on your business. Also, is one could be challenges for you is that while your business is doing good, but the way you receive cash is that you need a face-to-face transaction with your customer. That is going to be difficult because of the social distancing and all these lockdowns that's going on. So if you have no contact with your customer and then there's no cash coming in, you do the service, but or you have receivable and you have customers are ready to pay you, but then you don't have the facility to accept this payment. So what you do is to set up a protocol or a process wherein it allows you to do payments contactless. So it could be using PayPal, for example, or we use GCash, for example. That's one way, but GCash has a limitation of 100,000 per month. You can also sign up your business to certain payment gateways. No, in the Philippines we have PayMaya, we have Dragon Pay. So these are Peso Pay, I think that's one. So all this type should, and PayPal, of course, you can use this process gateway to allow your customers to pay you. Because even if your customer are willing to pay you, but you don't have the facility to receive payment, still there's no cash for your business. So you have to fix this properly. Okay, now let's do the other part. The next way is, of course, obviously, is controlling cash flow. What do you do this? So when you're doing ordinary the business, you know, there's a hole. The cash is always going out. So what you do is you try to plug partially of that hole so that the cash going out is being controlled and less, and therefore encouraging cash preservation. These are the techniques I can suggest. One is negotiate new supplier terms. Okay, you can speak to your suppliers and ask that you be delayed payments. It will be a very unpleasant conversation, but it's better to communicate with them upfront. Two would be avail government assistance and subsidies. So the Philippines has had this small business wage subsidy program in 2-tier last May and June. Our companies in the Philippines was able to immediately take advantage of this and allow us to save more cash for our payroll and allow our staff to have a additional income while they are in lockdown. Another difficult decision would be to cut non-essential expenditures. We will cover essential expenditures on the later part. Okay, so cash preservation again is the priority. So never lose out of that focus when you are running the business. It is very difficult. I'm telling you, I've done it myself. It's a very difficult conversation to talk to your supplier, your employees, but you know, you have to do it. It's a decision that you need to do. The second part would be clarity. Okay, you need to have a clear understanding on how the pandemic must affect your business currently and forward. No, so normally what we do, I don't know if you've watched a TV series called Billions. There's one particular conversation there that I like in terms of analysis. They use what particular approach? 5,000 level high of 5 years forward thinking. No, so maybe in this pandemic you can have like maybe 5,000 level of height of looking at your business and maybe look a projection of 6 to 12 months. You can do this by understanding how is the pandemic affecting in your business. So let's cover some essential points. No, so do this, you need to ask some very important and again, very difficult questions. One is how pandemic affects the following in your business. Number one, customer traffic. Is it going to be slow? People will be coming to your business or not? How they will contact you? So that's a question that needs to be parted immediately. Number two, are my product are still sellable? Are the services are still sellable at the time of pandemic? This must be understood. And if yes, can this be delivered? Can this be executed, these services during pandemic? So if not, then obviously it's a negative impact for you. If yes, then that's good for you because it allows you to continue your current revenue stream. You need very, very important, if you like, we're human and we once before as an entrepreneur, we're also employees, no? So we understand the feeling of our employees. We need to understand how this affects to them, the employees and the welfare, their welfare. So many of the employees cannot travel to work because of curfew and lockdowns. And then their welfare, they would be, you know, it's going to be difficult for them to buy groceries and all this. So all this must be understand at a higher point of view, perspective. Sales collection, okay? So you have sales. Would you be able to receive these payments? How do you receive these payments? Will the pandemic affect my collection? So if you're doing collection by sales agent, meaning one-on-one person, you know, like the Bombay, they will come to you and then collect every day. No, it's going to be impossible in the pandemic. So I know for a fact there are small businesses there who are very happy because the day has come that they have prayed, not that I prayed, but according to them, the day has come for them that the Bombay has not visited them already. Why? Because of this particular challenge. But that's the Bombay business model. But for you, okay, if you have a sari-sari store, no one comes to your sari-sari store, how they will going to pay you, how you deliver that product. You have to understand that level in your business. Supply chain, okay? If you're trading, where are you going to get your products? Or if you're outsourcing, who is going to outsource this supplies for you? I mean, will the pandemic, you know, create a backlog of orders undelivered for your business? You need to understand this so that you'll be more flexible to make urgent decisions, no? And then you can find ways. Questions would be about how do you communicate to your stakeholders? So these are very, very easy. This is an easy part now because right now we have virtual meetings like Zoom. We can always do an SMS. Now you can, now the Zoom meeting is more formal now, even in our firm. We're not going to our customers, but what we're doing is we're doing Zoom meetings already with them. Business process, very obvious. So if you are in a pandemic and you're still running your business, how is my existing process affected? Do I remove them? Do I continue them? Do I adjust them? Okay, what should I do? The schedule of sanitation, the schedule of cleaning. How about my payment solutions? How do I package my product? What is the timeline between my supplier and me be able to receive this product? So these are very technical things that needs to be understood in your business that you cannot go away, you know, understanding. Also, being an entrepreneur, most of us, the business is actually our livelihood. So we need to understand the impact of this to our personal finance. Is it enough to help us to overcome this difficulty? So again, it boils down to the first one, whether we have cash preservation or not. So if you are an entrepreneur and your business is in a cash cow model of cash, what do you mean cash cow? Meaning every time you milk the cow for cash, you take it out and, you know, go out, nothing is left for you. Come in and out, that's the cash cow model. It's a very difficult and challenging model for you for cash. So it's very important that you understand this particular dynamics in your business, okay? Important is also understanding the updates from the government. The government compliance, how is it affecting your business? This is point number 2, okay? There's quarantine, there's curfew, there's limit on social interaction, there's government contributions and taxes. So you need to understand most of them may affect the way the customer traffic is going to your business, or also your government obligations with the business. And like an example of SBWS in the Philippines, whether you'd be able to avail very quickly this kind of subsidy. Now, I think most of you would know that the government has allowed us an extension to pay some government contributions and taxes. But as of July and June, we are back to, as far as the contributions is concerned and government compliance, we're back to normal as taxes and contribution. Other questions would be, how soon I run out of cash? No? Who are my remaining new customers? Who are my remaining new suppliers? What business costs are non-essential and that you can live without? Okay? What operational changes I need to adapt? Where to seek help? So for example, you need cash. Where do you get short-term cash? No? That will help you alleviate all these challenges. And then I'm trying to change many things in my business model. Who are the networks that I need to approach? So again, having clarity is, the objective of being very clear is one thing, but really asking serious question objectively is another. It's a very difficult conversation to yourself or to all your stakeholders, which brings me later to one very important part of our mindset that needs to be done, which is decisiveness, number 3. So understanding your cash flow position, that's number 1. And then number 2 now, understanding how the business is impacting you. The number 3 allows us or requires us to be decisive, to make decisions. We have to act decisions, big decisions, small decisions in our process, whether we operate or not, very, very quickly. We must be very, very responsive. When we are making decisions, it's very important to identify who is making the decision. Okay, if you are just a manager, you're very limited of your authority. Better you have to speak to your chain of command. Your boss is the owner, and if you're the owner, then you have the authority to execute these decisions. What decisions? Very obvious question would be whether are you going to close or continue. I know our discussion today is more focused on building and maintaining, but really, to be very honest, you cannot, like the facts that we have shown earlier, there are really business that are not in their proper business model that allow them to survive the business, have actually need to close. And if you have to decide to continue, you have to be also careful whether you're closing permanently or temporarily. Okay, so many of our clients have closed temporarily. Okay, so starting from March to even until to this month, they are still closed because the way their business is being operated does not allow them to be flexible. And many of this also just want to make sure that they are on hibernation while all this thing is going on. And you need to understand if you're continuing permanently or temporarily. When you're continuing, you have to understand whether are you going to continue the old ways you're doing or you're going to implement the new normal or the new process for your business. Timing is very important because if you are not in the right timing to make decision, again, this is a key importance of really maintaining the business, because maintaining the business can mean shutting down temporarily or continue as it is with changes. That is how maintaining the business. Closing is another story. Permanent closure, that's another story, because if really there's no cash, even if you come back later, that's another issue. So we've heard in the US, there's a lot of companies already closing down, filing for bankruptcy. So timing is essential. Now, in this pandemic, when was the right time to make a decision for all this? It should have been first week of March, okay, the least. So we have clients that who already only made decisions in May. And the problem with this is, instead of cash preservation, they have spoiled the cash. They did not make, they did not have the clarity of understanding that the restaurant in that area would actually not operate. Okay, they did not make a clarity whether if they're doing certain things, changes in their business model, that customers will still come. They did not have this clarity. And because you didn't have this clarity, the decision making was delayed. So if you're closing in the middle, if you're really closing temporarily, and then you're closing in the middle of May, you've already wasted almost 2 months of cash flow in your business, which you could have preserved when you want to turn it on again. Responsibility, this is very important. Making decisions for your business, for preserving your business, closing or permanently closing temporarily or going forward, you know, when you're making this difficult decision, you need to be responsible. Our decision must always be fair and just, no? We have to be conscious of this, you know. Particularly for me, my personal work culture is always to care for my people and for my clients. So for my people, I always make sure that I'll do everything for them before I have to do extreme measures. And luckily, thank God, maayos naman. Okay, I didn't have challenges with my employees because I was very clear of what needs to be done, and my board immediately made the decision very quickly. Of course, when you're making decisions, doing yes or no, you have to understand the steps that you need to take to execute the decision. No, there must be timeline, there must be details of that execution, and then understanding also who would be the people who would be helping you in the execution of this decision. Next would be, one very important is communication. Talk openly to all stakeholders. Okay. I'm just trying to be time conscious here, but okay. So we're still okay. So communication is very important in all what you call this, in all crisis management approach. Okay, that's the number one. You have to communicate to everybody to clear things for them, because what would happen if you are not very clear? Okay, it created doubts, non-cooperation, disunity, and then you're already in a problem of the pandemic as it is of your business, but because of certain downs of your team, it creates more, you know, havoc to the business more. So you try to manage the problem immediately upfront, and then one of this is to make sure you have a very good communication strategy. Okay, communication. You need to speak to your stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders, number one, very important stakeholders you have is your people. You need to speak to them. If you decide to cut their wages, if you need to avail the no work, no pay, talk to them face to face. Do not send them a message. It's important is you need to be personal to them. That's what I did. Also, your customers, when you ask them, you tell them, please pay us whatever you can, we'll give you discount. Do that. Talk to them properly. Your suppliers, if you have the intention of delaying payment, which normally many entrepreneurs would do, it's still nice and just to talk to them, giving them a heads up saying, sir, this is pandemic. I don't think I would be able to comply my current obligation, but rest assured, we will do whatever we can, the soonest that we will have the availability of cash and pay you. Okay. Many of the business that has worked with us have done this. Okay. And those businesses who made immediately decision at the beginning and made a clear communication strategy actually are the businesses that had less problem while maintaining the business. Because what would happen if you do not again don't have good communication and you continue to do your business, your suppliers will be angry with you, then they will not give you your supplies. Your customers, if you are not very clear with your procedure, it creates confusion, they move to another competition. So again, the communication strategy. This would mean your marketing, the PR, okay, any form of communications that you can reach out to your customer and to your suppliers, business owners, employees, even to your family members. You need to speak to them. If the business is actually your livelihood, you speak to your wife, you speak to your children that we have to make changes because we have to make changes in the family because we're making changes in our business, right? So many of these entrepreneurs would actually take the big hit. So if they, like many of the very good entrepreneurs, really, what they do is before they do some certain cutting to their employees, they will cut first themselves, their salaries. And many of these are the top management normally would have this cut, the bigger cut. So these are things, no? So again, communication is essential. Stakeholders like customer and suppliers. And of course, if you have key partners, like you're in franchising, you need to talk to them as well. Or if you are a distributor of the brand, you have to have a clear communication with the brand itself. How you communicate normally are this, no? So if this affects in the entire company, there should be a policy memo for this. You can send emails, but the best communication approach and channel would be a one-on-one. And because of the limitation of the face-to-face conversation, you would have to do a virtual meeting and group for everybody, okay? So at my time, this is a very difficult thing to do for an entrepreneur when you are going to talk to everybody and you have just no choice but really have to do it, so that everything must be clear if you decide to continue. If there is no clarity of communication to all stakeholders, you are adding problems. I'm 100% sure you would be adding more problems later in your business. You don't want that. The pandemic is already a problem that you are facing. Then you have another issues with other people about you not being transparent with them. Okay, so communication strategy must be very, very important for transparency about your cash situation, changes of your operation. If you have business processes, you need to communicate this. If you understand and you are very clear of the impact, you need to talk to them. And then whatever updates you talk to them. Again, of all people that you need to communicate, for me, I can only speak for myself. Number one is really the people in your team, okay? If you are trying to be conservative and not be able to share information about your financials, I think it would do justice if when you're asking them to, to make sacrifices on their salaries and not doing work, if you're transparent with them that this is really our situation now. We don't have cash, we cannot survive in the next coming of months if we do not do this. So this conversation, again, are very difficult. But this conversation must be very important to maintain the business. Because again, without proper communication strategy, you're adding problems to your business forward when you're maintaining this. So these are key discussion points that you need to talk to everybody. The communication must be constant and continuous, no? You can have a communication strategy that is only for daily basis, weekly basis, and of course, monthly basis. Okay, so there are people that you know to talk to. Again, because of the distance that is required to work with other people, most probably it would always be virtual. And then finally, the new mindset and the practices we need to understand is in your business, you need to track regularly. Meaning, if you've made decisions already, you need to understand if that decisions are the right decisions, okay? You still need to be very flexible that if you decided this, you cannot change this. You have to be very flexible about this decision. And to do that is to really measure properly. Measure whether it's a success or not. You have to open all your senses to your business 360 degrees to understand how, again, the current things are going, how is it affecting your business? And then get that feedback, again, from 360 degrees and be able to act accordingly and make new decisions accordingly. So monitor the things, the following, the cash flow, of course, your receivables, your payables, of course, you need to understand that, okay? Huwag matakot kasi palugi ka ng palugi. You don't want to look at that, but you have to do this actually, And then track your customer count to serve and customer that you have served. Understand them if dumadami ba or lumiliit. So because when it's going down, then you can adjust also other costs and you'd say, I don't need to sell this particular product because the cost to maintain and sell this product is higher, so I don't do this. Okay, so these are things that you have to measure and monitor constantly. Of course, employee requirements, right? Your employee who's working with you and maintaining your business, what do they need? Okay, you need a dispenser for health and sanitation. You need a PPE, for example, if that is applicable for you. You need a face shields. Okay, transportation requirement, all this you need to understand. You need to monitor this, whether your requirements of the employee when they operate and they help you in the business are actually working for you. Constant monitoring of government regulation. Honestly speaking, never in my whole life that I was always been very consistent in watching the news, reading the news. Never, only in this pandemic, because there's so many things that might really help me or affect in my business if something is being done. Okay, so like for example, me in the UAE, I'm always looking at how the numbers now affected in the pandemic, and also whether the employees can come to the office or not. Okay, and then in the Philippines, what situation already, because my team is working on different provinces, so they're doing work from home. So is it time that they can come? Transportation is already okay. Okay, so whether the quarantine state allows us to ask the team to come to the office. So all this, is there any payment holidays that is allowed? Like for example, SSS, Pag-ibig, PhilHealth, taxation, okay? Also, whether there are subsidies, right? So if you are not up to date to this regulation, you miss the train. I know businesses who miss the train on subsidies. I know this for a fact. But if you are on point, watching all the news, looking at government regulations, what is update, and being very conscious and very dynamic and flexible to make actions, again, you know, it makes our life more easier in running and maintaining the business. When you're implementing new things, obviously, you need to track this. How effective are these processes in your business, right? The action points, whether they are already been done or not. Also, whether new operational process actually works in the current situation for you or not, okay? And when you're doing this, you need to make sure you need to update, revise, and communicate. Very, very standard. So what changes you need to adapt, new additional action points needs to be done, adjustment if necessary to your business, okay? So here, just going back to all these things, before going to, let's just have a very quick recap. Okay, so we understand one would be we need to have understanding priority. Okay, priority, cash is very important, cash preservation. Number two would be clarity, how the pandemic will affect us. Number three is to be decisive, be able to make decisions very quickly. Number four would be communication. You need to have a good communication strategy because this is an essential element in how to handle crisis. Communication. And then you have number five, tracking everything regularly. So if you have any questions on this point, please, I'll ask that towards the later of our presentation. So now let's discuss number two, changes of your business model. Okay, masyadong baka malilito kayo. What is business model? Basically, yung business model is yung kabuuan kung paano yung entire mong business would operate internally and externally. Okay, we will discuss about customer, products. We'll talk about a very key essential parts of your business na kailangan natin na pwede nating i-change. So, maybe in your current situation, your business is, if you decide to maintain, okay, and continue, continue or suspend, no? And if you decide to continue your business, you must be open to changes. Very important. And the changes I'm talking about, not only to the mindset I'm talking about, is actually a possible change in the model of your business, the way you run your business, what business you have. So maybe, like an example, are you a restaurant business? Okay, if your restaurant is, you have a branch and you receive customers, only walk-in customers, you have tables, dine-in, then that's a challenge for you. So when I say changes in the business model, maybe what you need to do, like instead of receiving customers in your branch, how can you continue offering good, delicious food to your customer without them having coming in? So maybe you're thinking, I'll do delivery, on delivery service, food delivery service. Moving from that direction to that delivery direction is actually an example of changing your business model. To survive and to maintain your business, and if you're also planning to start a business, this is during the pandemic, you might also be interested of looking at the business models that you need to be aware of, because one of the things that you will learn here, most probably a good opportunity for you to set up this particular business for you. Okay, but my focus here is that you're an existing business, and then naisip mo, naku, napakahirap talaga kung I still do the same thing like I did. What do I need to change? So the question is, what do you need to change to maintain and build your business strongly and thrive during the pandemic? This is the technical aspect of that. Okay, so changes to the business model. So changes to the business model, normally pinag-uusapan lang to sa mga trainings and that, but what I would do is I would share this, and that perhaps this would actually help everybody. So first is we need to discuss customer segments, your revenue stream, your customer channel, key activities, key partners, and cost structure. Okay? Wag mo nang manosbleed. Okay? So very technical siya, but you know, we need to accept this learning kasi there's no other way I can explain this very clearly but by having this party. Okay, ang business model, malaking kanyan aspect, maraming aspect yan aside itong anim. Meron pa niya mga key relationship, ano pa yung mga additional na mga points sa business model na kailangan mong i-cover. I think there are, if I'm not wrong, there are 9 of them, pero I would just want to focus on 6. Okay? Now, let's start with customer segment. Okay? So, what is customer segment? What needs to be changed in your customer segment? So, if knowing your business, you would understand kung sino yung market mo. Right? Kung ang market mo ay mga bata, mga market mo ay walk-in, yung market mo ay mga pasahero sa MRT, or ang market mo ay nasa online buyers, you need to understand first ano yung existing market mo. And if your current market is not very responsive, okay, to you when you're offering this service and no one is buying from you, you need to change. One of the changes you need to make is that maybe you need to look for new markets for your business. Okay? So you can do 2 things actually under changes on your customer segment. One would be searching for new group of customers. Number 2 would be, kung may existing ka ng customer tapos napakalawak, what you can do is focus on any of them. Okay, which one are the most likely I can maintain as customer? This particular customer, maybe the younger customer, I can focus on this. So changes in customer segment, not necessarily looking for new market segments, but also looking for your existing already and just focus on that. Okay, focus on that particular customer. So if you're doing both online customers and you're doing classroom customers, maybe you would focus to online customer. That is the change. That is one change you can do in your business model. So if you're offering classes in the classroom and then you're offering online classes, forget the classroom. Focus on the market of online. There's one particular I saw always in the social media. I know they're very aggressive in social digital marketing, and I know you need to go to them to enroll in the classroom. So now I found out they have actually shifted to the model from classroom customers. They're going to focus now on online customers. There's one particular academy in Dubai that was doing that. And part of my family actually is also, who's been caught to that and actually enrolled on that particular program. It's very good. It's very good. So I can give you examples. No, first is there might be new customers because of stay-home customers with specific needs, right? So kung dati ang mga customer ay nandun sa lumalabas para bumibili, so ang mga customer ngayon ay nasa bahay na, right? So what products can you offer? So if this is the new market, customers are at home, do not move, do not go out. What service and products I would give them? We can answer this on the second question, on the second business model. So also, new segment would be focusing, example lang ito, focusing on younger customer or focusing on a certain demographic of customer, babae, lalaki, mga bata, matanda. You can do that. No? Another would be, example is shifting to online buyers. Oh, that's another change possible that you can do. Okay? So itong mga example, these are actually practical changes that you can apply to your business if it's applicable. Okay? So these are very good segments. No? Online buyers is number one now, a very good segment, market segment. And those people who already been adapting that them as a market already, they are most likely to survive better than those who is just about to shift from an existing walk-in clients to an online customer. So if you already have an e-commerce, I will show you a case study later. Business already positioned for online buyers, they are really very successful today. Another segment would be frontliners. Okay, frontliners, they're niche kind of customer. So what can you offer them? What do they need? No, PPE maybe, for example, or mask. Okay, or these are very small products. So, but these are type of customers that have certain specific need. So you need to understand that maybe shifting on focus to these particular customers. Stranded individuals, ang dami nating nakikita dyan. So maybe if you're a restaurant, you put a package, if you want to really make a business, although you can give it away, but what you can do would be, sell it at cost or sell it at small margin to them. Or for example, only for stranded individuals who can afford, obviously. Like maybe you can offer transport for, to bring them to another places. So these are just example. So these are segments that possibly may mga sariling pangangailangan, okay? And maybe you can solve their problem by offering this service to them. Business requiring specific support, okay? So example, like in our experience, we're in online accounting, may mga company, although it's still very difficult today, but many of businesses, for example, they have their own accounting team, and then what they do is, because they're using a desktop software or something, they would need to move to online, so they need specific online support. Okay, may nakikita din ako sa social media na naghahanap ng customer support, stay home lang ng mga customer support. So these are very specific kind of, if you're into business to business support services. No. Another would be customers who are very focused to health and sanitation customer. So ano ba itong mga customer nito? Most probably mga restaurant, mga transport companies who might need this. Okay? Now let's move on to the second aspect ng business model. Kung ang customer segment talks about who are your market, ang revenue stream naman is what new product, service that you can serve, or what existing product you will have that you will need to focus and produce. Okay? So these are that you can offer to your newfound customer group or to your existing focused customer. Example would be, so now I'm talking about product, no? So may market ka na, ang next mong tanong, kung mag-change ka ng market, papalitan mo yung market o magdagdag ka ng bagong market, ang next na tanong, anong pwede kong i-offer dito? Sa frontliners, sa mga taong nasa bahay, mga online buyers, what service or product that I can offer them? Okay, these are a good example. So, maraming tao sa mga homestay na mga customer, they would always need fresh fish, meats, produce, and consumables. So, if you are a nagtitinda ka ng isda, and then customer cannot come to you on your page, and instead of closing, what you do? You sell it via Facebook. So I've seen one, I think a few days ago from GMA, I saw a report where the couple, they actually started the business on fish, selling fish, and how they market it is they market it in social media. We've seen also earlier reports wherein an employee from a stewardess or who is working with the airline agent company now, they're selling all this by online. Another would be, there's an example where they're selling their focus to eggs. Okay, I saw a report, they're focused to eggs, and they sell this also online. So instead of, you know, sitting there with the sari-sari store, what they did is, again, this could be a case study, but this is what I saw in GMA. They focus like everybody needs eggs, okay, but no one can come to the supermarket, so what do I do? So then I set up a Facebook page and then sell the eggs, and then they deliver. It turns out, mas profitable tuloy, being focused on certain market and focused on a certain product. Of course, health and sanitation products, for health sanitation, customer would need this one. Maraming mga tao, lumakas ang vitamins and food supplement demand. Okay, so these are products that can also be offered. Bills payment services. In one of our companies, we offer the service, and marami pong kailangan ng tulong para magbayad because they cannot go out. And delivery people are always frontliners, so they can do that. Transport services. Nako, I'm telling you, this is one of the good businesses right now, the food transport. So if you're in a restaurant and you're doing your own delivery or joining an aggregator to deliver your food, that is also a very good change in your model. So, or if you're a new business, if you're existing business, ang existing mong business, hindi na talaga makapag-produce, makapag-sell, then i-shift mo yung business mo to a delivery company. I know one trading company na ang ginawa nila is they've stopped selling these particular items. What they did is they offer delivery service, no, online. So they've shifted from an old product to a new business or revenue stream. Number 3 would be customer channel. Okay, balikan ko lang para hindi magkalituhan. Ang una ay customer segment, ano ang market. Ang pangalawa, revenue stream, ano po ang mga products, kung meron na tayong bagong market. And then pangatlo po ay channels. Ano ba ang channels? Kung may bago ka ng customer, may bago ka ng products, paano mo ngayon ito i-deliver? Paano mo i-communicate? Paano mo i-distribute? So these are examples. You can engage with delivery companies, so you can outsource the service, or you can join to a marketplace. Okay, sige, I'm very close to closing this presentation. Another would be enlisting your business to e-commerce and marketplace. And then you can join to website e-commerce. Okay, so you can be a seller on that marketplace. You can also set up your Facebook channel and groups where you can communicate directly to your customers. So these are good examples. You can do email marketing, or you can establish your own delivery service. Very popular right now is live selling, of course. Then key activities. Okay, so key activities, what are the processes? So you have the new customer product, meron ka ng delivery and the way to communicate this to your customer. Ano ngayon mga activities na pwede mong i-change din sa business mo? Of course, yung online ordering process and fulfillment ng products mo. Yung customer payment, how they will pay, you need to change that as well. Yung kung you are selling online, you have to understand your process for returns and exchanges. Online customer support, you have to do also digital marketing para kailangan mo na yan because people would know now you from social media, for example. You need to do health and sanitation procedure protocols in your business. Example, ilang customer lang pwedeng tanggapin mo sa sa branch mo, ilang tao lang, how often you clean, anong sanitation procedure mo, and mag-mask, social distancing, all this. Also, another could be key change would be moving your accounting to online, and then you can arrange also work from home arrangement for your staff. So these are key activities that might change. And then virtual meetings would be very common as well as your key activity in your business. Now, key partners these are the people who will actually help you in executing changes in your business. So obviously, there's so many key partners here. So if you're joining a marketplace, so let's say Lazada or Shopee or whatever is the local e-commerce in your place, or Facebook. So these particular platforms become your key partners. Kung kailangan mo ng payment gateway, for example, PayPal or Paymaya, these are new networks for you, key partners that you need to work with to help you deliver. Kung meron ka mga i-outsource na services, obviously the outsource company, example, mga online accounting and digital marketing. And then if you are moving to a new model, which is franchising, of course, your new partners would be the franchise and licensing. Then, of course, you have also your subcontractors if you need to subcon some of your services just to make sure you deliver all the service and product that you need. And of course, if you're doing also distribution, if it's a new business model for you, then you'll have to work with brands as new key partners in your business. Finally, cost structure. Ito yung pinakamahirap sa lahat sa businessman, okay, sa entrepreneurs. Because we care a lot of many of our resources in our business, we tend to act equally just, and reasonably when we are doing this. So these are examples of where we can cut cost. Of course, reducing owners and manager salary. This is one, as long as the law allows us to do that. Negotiate for lower rent or ask for rent holidays. Longer supplier payments. That you have, again, part of your communication strategy. Lowering supplier cost with your service or product. So to gain more volume, maybe there's a need for you to ask for lower cost from your supplier if you can, but this is very difficult. But if you don't ask, you don't get. That's always the concept. Avail extension of payments, again, part of your communication strategy, and ask for, and also trying to track from government how they can help, what are the extension of your compliance requirements. And this another difficult thing, implement a legally allowed no work, no pay for non-essential staff. It's very difficult for our staff, but if we need to survive, we need to make difficult decisions, very unfortunately. But when we're doing this, it should be in accordance with law. And then when you're doing this, maybe, somehow you can still be able to help your staff. Maybe not 100% the way you will pay them, but find a way to help them, at least they would survive. And then, of course, outsource activities to professional business who can provide cost-effective solutions for your support. Remove operating services that are not necessarily, okay, that are not necessarily like subscriptions, utilities, transportation, entertainment, printing and advertisement, etc. Okay. So, case study, very quickly. So there's a burger company in Abu Dhabi, and it is doing well right now. So what they did, they had cash savings before COVID. So it allows their flexibility on the cash to operate forward during COVID crisis. They've closed 2 branches mid-March until today. So that reduced their operating cost. They spoke to all suppliers for extension or payments and discount. They manage this because they have very good reputation with the supplier. They have reduced staff, not 100%, but only a very portion of that. They focus on online delivery and food delivery. They added products like coffee and donut as their product. So there's more selection for their existing customer what to order. And then as a marketing campaign, they did a food while on Netflix campaign, meaning they gives this packages like if you're watching this particular series in Netflix, it's best that you have this particular set of gourmet products like the burger and the donuts beside you. So it worked well, and they actually operated well as well. Very good. Next case study would be an online jewelry company in Dubai. So unfortunately, this business, they have no cash, okay? But they, for these months that they're in COVID, they were very profitable. Why? Because they have an existing online store already. Okay, so those who already in online have existing markets online, they do well. In fact, they've been more profitable in COVID time than pre-COVID. So they have more customers now coming in as conversion. They had good timing because in their business, it's very, people tend to buy jewelry Ramadan and Eid. They spoke to all suppliers for extension of payments and discount, including us. So, their communication is good. They communicate to suppliers. They've also communicated to the employees as well. They've reduced salaries, but their people are still working with them. Their admin people work from home. They have even invested on online store to upgrade their online store to serve, more offerings in the online. And then they focus obviously on online delivery of their jewelry. So their clients now cover new markets in the Middle East like KSA and Bahrain as well. They have kept their old stocks and they have sold the products almost to a discount as well. Another would be a Philippine company, a delivery service company. So this company had no cash, but the delivery service is an existing business model. So they thrive and they're operating very good. They spoke extension for payments, obviously. They also availed the reduction of salaries and staff and availed subsidies from the government. They've improved the customer service. They had a lot. They invested good digital marketing for local awareness. And then I think if I was looking at their Facebook page, they started at around 1,000. After 2 months, they have, I think, 6,000 followers already with that number of customer because of digital marketing. They've done good promotions, like there were times they would offer for like frontliners, they offer this particular delivery for the frontliners, or they would have this package of groceries that you can donate. You buy it and then they will deliver and then donate to a family. So these are good promotions they did. So they are doing very well during the pandemic. Another case study would be an online consulting company in the Philippines. They had no cash savings before COVID. Sorry, they have cash savings. They have emergency fund, and they are already in. Their model is already online. They've reduced salaries, obviously. They do no work, no pay. Okay, and then they are also they're communicating directly virtually with their clients. So just to recap, these are the 2 parts that we need to understand basically: the new normal mindset and practices, and then changes to your business model. So we've discussed this 5 very important mindset and practices: prioritization, clarity, decisiveness, communication, and track regularly. Okay, and then the business model, we have to cover and understand how we can shift our business from the old to a new business. And to do that, you have to understand also examples in terms of finding new market, offering new services, finding methods of new delivery and communication to your customer where you can get in touch with them, new additional activities in your business in order to execute these new changes, collaborate and work with key partners in your business so that it would be smooth also, and then perhaps they can also give you advice on how to survive. And then very important and the most difficult one is changes into your cost structure, where you have to, cut those non-essentials. So that ends our presentation. Thank you so much. Hello, Jonathan.
I'm still here.
Am I still live or something? Or
I did not blink an eye. And my team, attorney, I will tell you something. My team don't want to cut it. Okay. And then in the page, in the PAM Academy page, it's showing on the report, we have 400 people reached during your presentation. And very stable. It's very, I have no words actually. I will not even do the recap, okay, and just put the attendees later for the next session. But really, you rock it. It's really impossible for that period, 1 hour and 15 minutes to cover everything. So really, I'm amazed. And even the people here in the Zoom live, I think they just waited for you to finish your presentation. I don't have words.
So we were cut off in the middle of the live. That was you're saying?
No, we are not cut off, but I'm thinking we will be cut if we will continue.
Okay. So we're still live.
Yes, everything is live.
Okay.
We will just cut now, actually.
Okay.
But really, attorney, you rock it. See, everybody is saying you rock the presentation. I think even the questions was already answered after your presentations. But just to give whether this will be cut, so at least I will just give way with one question. No?
Sure.
Sayang. I mean, you really rock it, attorney. I mean, okay, we are still on live and you rock the presentation. You prepared well. I don't have words.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience, everybody.
Thanks, attorney. Really, these three speakers and you, wow, really clap, attorney. Okay, so then just one question here. Okay, even if this will be cut, if you are watching live, it's okay because I will give way on the next speaker. Okay, so you already mentioned actually some of this. How do you handle your employees? No, are they output based or quantity based? Are you monitoring them while they are working from home? So I think most business owners are afraid, no, to let their workers to stay at home and do the work from home. So in your point of view, are you output based or quantity based? Or you have this, you log in and then log out, so you will monitor their hours. So I want to get from you.
So during the pandemic, before the pandemic, we have actually we use a particular tool where everybody will have to log in, and then that system actually takes screenshots, every 10 minutes, and then they have to lock every time, clock in all the tasks. No? So it was initially is an output based, no? But with the pandemic, I'll tell you, this is one of the things that I cut off. I cut it off, this service, because it was not essential. And what we did, we moved to a very traditional Google Sheet, timesheet. And then, it was very difficult, but it was not really very difficult decision to do because there was a trust element with my team already. So I have to trust my team. Again, it was part of my communication strategy to make sure people understand, even sharing to them the financial situation of the business 6 months forward. I was very open to them. I tell them, this is our case. If we do not do this, kalas. So yes, just to answer your question, we have to make a very difficult decision in terms of employee. But you really need to, in exchange, you really need to trust them as well. So there is no more clock in, nothing. They will have to voluntarily, fill up the Google Sheet for us. But of course, the understanding that because we have we work with systems, no, we have already systems in place, and we have the right people. The team leaders are very good. And then we have also very good communication, within the teams. So you would not really fear that people would just be relaxed at home and not doing anything. But really, part of me would be really to trust them. So I know there were times that they do not really work 8 hours. I didn't really care about it. But what is important for us is the team would deliver the output, right? So let's say in the accounting, if they are going to deliver on a certain deadline, I'm happy with it already, right? And luckily, I'm very happy. I'm very proud of my team. Really super. I don't want to work with anyone else except these people with me currently right now. They're brilliant. They're understanding, and then they're very trustworthy also. So when even if we cut down certain days, no, we cut because one of the requirement of small business wage subsidy for you to qualify is that you're actually doing no work, no pay for them. So we did that in the Philippines, and then so they still receive the salary almost intact. Part of that was coming from the days they work, and then part of that was also from the subsidy. And then it did not change the productivity. The only change was that because the clients are low, the work is low, so we have time to, certain days in a week that they don't work. And despite of this, they still deliver on the output that we desired. Like on this specific deadline, they have to deliver to submit the report to the client. They did, because we understand that in our business, the timely information must be there immediately. Like I emphasized for you about cash flow, that is very important for them. So I have to make sure that despite of our circumstances running separately the firm, our commitment to our clients must always be there. And we have to really show care. And the culture of care in our firm is very much overwhelming. It's very much there, no? Kasi pre-COVID, we have already a care culture. We care for everyone. We care for people. We care for our customer. That's our work culture. And because of that work culture, it helps me to transition from not really looking at the employees, every hour what they're doing. No, it's just a trust, and we care for them. That's it. It's difficult, but it must be done.
Wow, thank you, Atty. So, okay, meron pa. Okay, wag nating tapusin agad-agad.
Sige.
Sige, isa muna.
Sige.
Bago nyo batiin yung mga followers nyo, yung mga kamag-anak nyo anywhere, kasi we are everywhere at the moment. So, I think this will be my last question, and then I will allow you to greet everyone, do whatever you want. Okay?
Sure.
So, if there is an OFW returning home, okay, and they because of the problem in terms of job availability, would you recommend to start a business? And if yes, then what should be the first step?
Okay. Actually, I was expecting that business. The answer is super yes. Okay. In fact, I'm in the middle of expanding one of my business, of our businesses to certain new markets now. The answer is yes. If you cannot find work immediately, the only choice for you is to be an entrepreneur, right? It's really to be entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, in a sense, not really the big entrepreneur. You can start small. Like, I'll give you an example. The one that we saw in the news, I think this week, like there was a couple who thought of selling fish. No, in the morning they wake up early, they go buy the fish, and then they bring it at home around 7 o'clock. The wife, who had a very good marketing background, takes all the photo of the fish and send it to the group. So another strategy would be going to all the groups in your local community, and even one by one tell them, if you need to buy fish, like this page. So your channel, so your market would be the people at home who would require fish. Your product would be the fish. Your channel would be Facebook page. Okay? Facebook page. Your key partner. Who is your key partner? Yung asawa mo na bumibili, asawa niya na bumibili sa palengke in the morning. That was her key partner. Plus also, yung kamag-anak niya who were busy, distributing flyers in the neighborhood. Okay? It turns out, And this is a very new business, so there's nothing to cut cost, right? Nothing. So up to their key partners, he was able to build this, and according to that report, that particular person was able to double the salary that she had while she was working as a digital marketing company. It's in GMA. You can, it was there. I was amazed. And when I was watching that, I always remember, wow, this is a classic, very good business model for OFW, right? So it may not be fish for you, right? It could be anything. Here's what I will do. You're asking me for the first step. The very first step is always number one. Yung sinabi ko, who is your market? Number two, anong product, product research, anong product na pwede kong ibenta? Isda ba, gulay, itlog? Okay? Number three, set up a Facebook page. Immediately. Set up the Facebook page. You sell that in your Facebook page. I'm telling you, it will work. I've seen it work. It worked. But of course, you have also to work it on the ground, right? Because your focus would be local, right? Local. So wherever you are, local it. So it's just a matter of part. So you don't need to be in a very popular Lazada, Shopify. You don't need to call everybody. Thanks to social media, you'll be able to set up your own online store using a Facebook page. Okay? And then once you do that, I suggest when you're selling something that is repeatable, can be consumed and then can be required the next day. So egg is one of them, fish is another, right? And that's why, and if you can even do live selling, live selling, this is fish, 1 kilo, that you can do. And obviously, faith in yourself, no? Kung mahiyain ka, problema yan. Because walang entrepreneur na mahiyain. And of course, you have to understand also, very low risk, by the way, very low on risk. You start small. There's also, my puhunan, I think, there's one live I saw. They've also done a small packets of chicken wings. They've done it in 2 weeks. Wow, they've done. How they do it? Social media. That's how they do it, right? So it's just product research. I think the very key there is product research, because the formula would be after that is Facebook. And for now, it's happening to everybody in the Philippines. It's happening. So I would not be surprised in the next coming month that there would be like news like this. Many people would be entrepreneurs. You can start very small capital on that. That's my advice.
Wow. Thank you so much, Attorney. Really, there are other questions, but I will, as a respect to the next speaker, so I will allow you to say your parting message. You can greet them in your dialect. I think you have so many followers that watch, and really, the 1 hour and a half or almost 2 hours is not enough, no, to cover everything. But you really rock it, Attorney. Okay, so you can greet all your families or workers.
Okay, I'm not very sure who's watching right now,
Okay.
but I know we posted this slot in our social media channels. Thank you for joining me in this wonderful opportunity to be able to give. I'm a cheerful giver in terms of learning. So I am always, the most happy place for me is be able to share new learnings to everybody. I just did last 3 weeks ago a free webinar about zero accounting software in 3 straight weeks for two markets, the Middle East and the Philippines. And I do that in fear of heart. So thank you for joining me. Thank you, PAM Academy. And to my family who's always been very supportive, I hope they're watching now. I will ask them later. I would ask you for feedback. Please let me know. But for all those who really want to need help on the topic that I was just discussing, you can email me by finding my name, Dexter Destajo. Add me as your friend or message me directly. Or you can go to our Facebook page, LiveSync Accounting Philippines, okay? Or you can email us at info@livesync.co, okay? info@livesync.co. Good luck to all the entrepreneurs who are struggling, those who have made their decision. I hope you learned something, and I hope to help to see you when we cross all together this difficult line.
Wow. So thank you so much, attorney. Now you know why I mentioned everything in his profile. He's a really a serial entrepreneur. From the presentation itself, you can see it and rewatch it, replay everything. Because really, I learned so much. I took a lot of notes, 2 pages. Okay.
Okay.
It's here. Okay, like what my team said, they just want to continue and they don't want to stop it. But of course, 15 minutes from now, we are on the next speaker. So thank you so much. So keep with us. Okay, we have the homeschooling mom, and thank you. We will send